Right, motherfuckers. I'm not even waiting for the intro to end. It's a big one. It's a big one. Are you ready? Are you stood up? If you stood up, that's fine.
Sit down.
I'm not going to tell you to sit down. You can stand up if you want.
God.
Look, right. It's a content bonanza today, right? We've got all sorts going off. We've got a taste test, and we've done a lot of those actually at this point. We've got Judd's bumped into another fantastic freak to tell us about. Some shit went down at the Oscars. I've got another fun skate park story. When I'm reading this all out, I'm trying not to do like spoilers of it, and it's making it sound way worse than it actually is. Judd went to a racetrack. There's more YouTube boxing, and this time it's not Deji for once, because he can't win a fight to save his fucking life. Just like I said this whole time. Fuck Deji. I had a work conference today, and it was going like a normal work conference, and then some weird shit went down at the end. And there's all sorts of other stuff past that, but I think that's as much as I think that'll take up the whole podcast time. We'll see. If that's not it, there's even more past that. There's all sorts that we can get on with. But first, Judd.
Yes.
Listen here, right? Have you heard of these little gay old chaps called the Sidemen?
I have heard of some gay old fellas called the Sidemen, yeah. You've mentioned them a couple times.
What do you know about these gay old fellas called the Side... the edge fellas.
The edge fellas.
The perpendicular line boys.
Yeah, they're a group of lads. They're like content creators. They all had a thing together. I believe they had a house together.
They had a thing together, did they?
Yes.
Saucy.
Not Deji. JJ KSI was a part of them. I believe he was basically like, I'd essentially say like the if not the leading guy, you know, the popular one,
the main draw, I suppose.
Yeah. So that's all I know really about the Sidemen.
Yeah, the Side Boys. Well, I delivered you a thing earlier, and I will now reveal what that thing is. It is their vodka.
Oh!
They've produced a vodka. Now, I ordered one bottle of this vodka. I wasn't about to order you your own vodka. I've sent you a link to their website so you can see what the actual bottle looks like.
You're telling me that this is not the actual bottle.
I just delivered it in like a shitty plastic bottle. What I will say is that it's been used for nothing but water, that bottle, and no one's drunken out of it, so it should be pure.
I wouldn't care in either sense, you know me.
Well, you know my big autism brain would give a shit that you're not getting the proper taste. So I've delivered you that. If you want to look at the actual bottle, I've sent you a picture of it. I'm showing it on stream now, and we're going to do a little review of it. So obviously you can say what you think about the packaging. Judd. It's
very sleek.
Very sleek. It stands out. It's a black bottle. It's just like black and white, minimal. It's called XIX vodka, and I fucking hate it. It's my least favorite alcoholic bottle I've ever seen. And it's not because of the look of it, right? The look of it, I appreciate. I think it looks quite like. It looks quite premium. It looks quite classic. When it arrived, I was like, ooh, quite nice. And it's got, I'm showing on stream now, it comes in, I'm going to have to tear my address off of this. It comes in like branded packaging.
That's a very cool way to show off the bottle, by the way, on the website, by having it shown at different angles as you scroll up and down on the page, and it shows you like all the different...
The website's nice and everything. Cool. All of that, there's not why I hate it. The fact that the reason why I hate it is it's black. And that sounds awful to just leave it like that. Oh no, I've just realised that's not what I meant by that. No, what I mean by that is something I didn't realise would be so annoying. You can't see how much alcohol's left in it. Because you can't look at like you can't see through it because you can't it's an opaque bottle. You can't look down into it, see how much is left because it's black. Plus, it's vodka that's in it, so it's completely clear. So I know that's like a bit of a minor thing, but I didn't realise how annoying it was because I was trying to pour a bit of it out for you, but not so much that I'm wasting it on you, you fucking Neanderthal. And so I wanted to give you like a decent amount, enough so that you could have like a sip to like drink it straight to give it a taste, and then some to mix with Coke. But
which is what I was going to do.
I couldn't tell how much I'd poured out because it's completely black, so I actually don't like the bottle. Do you know what I would have done? Do you know what? But if I was to make an alcohol bottle, well, I've not drunk any of it yet.
Yeah.
An alcohol bottle, it would be translucent, and it would be purple, translucent purple. Because you still, I get wanting it to stand out. I get wanting it to stand out, but it's just anyway. So give it a sniff because I did smell it, and honestly, it is the best smelling vodka I've smelt by a long way. What do you think of that? I think it smells really nice, and I usually hate the smell of vodka.
To me, it smells like any other vodka, if I'm being completely honest.
It smells smooth as shit to me. You know when there was the old JonTron reviewing the Crystal Head Dan Aykroyd bullshit vodka?
Yeah.
Well, that was triple distilled, right? Well, this is 5 times distilled. You know, them side lads, they get it done. What's annoying is there's 7 of them, so it would have been nice for them to be like 7 times distilled. But anyway, I'm going to pour a little bit of this out.
We don't have the technology to distill something that much. Maybe there's like some
maybe there's some sort of scientific limit on that shit. Well, have you poured a little out, Judd? Yeah, there might be a lot of Judd freezing during this. His internet fucking sucks. I've poured a little bit out. I'm going to take a little sippy sip, and then let's see.
Still it more than 5 times. Mine's shitting itself.
that was funny. Let's take a sip.
What the fuck?
Ooh.
That's so smooth.
Oh no,
that's so smooth.
I did not want to like this as much as I do. This is not hate on the Sidemen. I love the Sidemen, by the way. I watch all the videos, obviously, especially KSI and his boxing and stuff. But like, I don't like vodka. Not a fan of it. And YouTube products are normally a bit shit sometimes. But fuck me, that's good.
That's incredibly smooth.
That is like the best vodka I've had by a long way. By a long way. I'm not a vodka fan. I do like it, but not very much. But honestly, Jesus.
That's really smooth.
I could drink that straight if I had to. I don't think I'd choose to still. I'm still going to mix it with Coke. And kind of get an idea of what it's like as a vodka and Coke. But Jesus, I'm so surprised by that. Have you got any other commentary then? That's so smooth.
No, because the thing is, it's a lot smoother than you'd think. Like you know, you'd expect me to be saying that, and it'd still be kind of harsh because it's vodka. But that went down no trouble at all. That was incredibly nice.
Well, it's not cheap. So for a 70 centilitre bottle, it was £35, and then I think it was £3 shipping. It did arrive within 2 days of me ordering it though, so it's not bad shipping. So it's not cheap. It's Bumbu level prices, which is it's not vodka Bumbu. It's spiced rum, but Bumbu is our favourite drink. It's not gonna. I don't think it'll ever be topped, but it definitely hasn't been. Unless someone sponsors this podcast with their alcohol, in which case that would probably be our favourite. So if the Sidemen want to hit us up with a big old sponsor, they probably won't. But you know, I've poured some Coke, a mix of like I tend to mix spirits and Coke, like a third spirit to 2/3 Coke. So I'm going to give that a little sip. If you want to do the same, I've provided Judd with some Coke as well as the vodka. So let's see what that's like. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That goes down a treat.
That's good shit.
That's one of my favourite things to mix with Coke, I think. Good lord.
I was thinking about this the other day, and Coke is just always the perfect mixer, I think.
It is the ultimate all-round mix. That's especially with vodka. Like, I like to mix my rum with quite a few other little, like pineapple, maybe ginger beer, just because it's a bit more different and interesting than like a rum and Coke.
Yeah,
but I think for vodka, they do a vodka orange, don't they, and things like that. But I think either cocktails or just a straight up vodka Coke. You can't go wrong with that. So anyway, there you go. What would you rate this vodka out of 10, Judd?
I'd give it an 8.
An 8. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think I agree. I think I'll slap an 8 on it. Like, I'm a little bit perturbed by the bottle, but that's not too important. The taste's the most important thing, and it knocks it out of the park for taste. Fuck me. Anyway, more riveting content coming up that's not just us drinking, but don't worry, as usual, we'll be drinking throughout. Way!
Yeah, whoa.
Right. Well, moving on then. It's time for a segment that you know it, you love it. It's this one.
Freak of the week.
That's right. It's time for everyone's favourite segment, Freak of the Week, where Judd's ran into a freaky doodle freaky person, and we essentially tribute a segment of the podcast to a freaky person. And I know Judd's got a decent one this time because he sent me a message saying, God bless Leeds, where he works. And I was like, he's bumped into some freaky person there. And he's so excited to talk about him.
God bless Leeds. God bless Leeds, honestly. So, once again, on break at work.
You might could do with being closer to your mouth, Judd, and maybe turn down a bit once you do that.
Okay, hold on now. There we go.
Yeah.
So once again on my break at work, hunting for freaks. I don't even consider my break anymore, because that's specifically an hour I take for hunting for freaks. I get my big freak net out, and I like go around with a camera trying to capture one. But this time I caught a whopper. I caught a whopper. Walking into Leeds train station, gonna go to the McDonald's, usual business. But then I hear I'm rounding the corner to go into Leeds. I hear like that. So
we just got a big distortion and then silence as your microphone tried to save our ears. Okay. But I think we get the idea.
Yeah, essentially, I heard someone screaming bloody murder, so I was like, all right, okay, this is going to be a good one. So I went down and I saw this guy, trying to get this woman, up and to leave. And this guy was, sort of stood there going, come on, let's go, we need to go now. And this woman was essentially curled up in a ball, hidden away in this, sort of little nook between two shops. It's just so sort of there was sort of pillars coming out of the...
bit more.
So there's sort of pillars or columns
some nice big pillars.
There's pillars or columns coming out of the wall a bit.
And there's columns.
So these just two column things sort of near each other, and she's sort of in this fetal position between these two columns. So she's in a little nook essentially. And she's going to herself. Whenever this guy's saying come on, we gotta go. She's going. She's screaming as well. She's screaming this. She's not just saying it. She's screaming it. She's going, no, I'm not going with you. I am not going with you. I think she was saying something like, they have my money. But she's screeching it. And at first I thought this guy was abusive or something, but obviously now, because I can't mind my own business and now I have to get content for the channel, I was obviously listening to the whole thing. I went out and got my McDonald's, and I just happened to sit next and near them with my McDonald's as I was eating. So
I like to imagine you sat down eating chips like popcorn at the cinema, just watching them, staring at them I
had a little notepad out. I was writing it down as I was just shoving chips into my mouth. But fucking yeah, so she's going, just like going, no, I'm not going anywhere with you. No, like screaming bloody murder. So I was like waiting for something to happen. I was like thinking of the cops coming or something, and I saw this security guy walk around the corner, and he had this look on his face of, oh. Here we go. And I just thought, this poor guy, how many times does he have to like deal with shit like this in Lee's train station? But anyway, he walked over to her, and this is what made me definitely think that this guy wasn't sort of like abusive or anything, because that's what I did think at the start. I thought like essentially he was really, really abusive, and this was her sort of like, you know, just like finally having enough. And even though it was like extremely volatile, you know, she just definitely didn't want to go with this guy. But here's like what makes me think that wasn't the case, is because when this security guy came around, he was like, you know, he wasn't like, oi, what's all this then? Because he wasn't
obviously
a police
like
officer.
all other old-timey British people are.
Yeah. But he wasn't like a police officer with the hat on and everything. He was like, you know, a disgruntled security guard. So when I was like, all right, guys, what's happening? So this guy was super like upfront about it, everything. He was like, look, mate, I'm trying to get her out with me. I couldn't hear what the actual issue was, but what makes me think it wasn't like any sort of abuse or anything was if that was like a dude that was like abusing her or something, and like somebody like that came up, he'd more sort of be like likely to go like, oh well, fuck this, I'm off, I'm getting out of here. But he like went straight up to him and he was like talking. He was like, okay, here's the situation, and he was seeming very sort of like, you know, calm about the whole thing, which then made me start to think, is this woman just like on a load of drugs? Because she is screaming there. She's not shouting, she's screaming. So I'm thinking, you know, what the and also if she didn't want to go with this guy, because she's saying she doesn't want to go with this guy, then surely she can just like walk one way and walk the other. But no, she has like firmly planted herself on the floor in Leeds Station and started screeching. So I'm watching it, and this security guard sort of saying to her like, all right, come on, you need to go, and she's essentially, she's like hanging onto the wall going, no, you cannot make me move, you cannot move. And I'm thinking, oh my god. There was also on the floor, I'd noticed as I like walked around to McDonald's, there was like a load of McDonald's just like thrown all over. So I don't know if she's like thrown this at this dude before she's had this huge outburst, but essentially that just carried on for like a good 10 minutes of just like this security guy would be like coming up and be like, look, you're making a scene, you need to leave. And then this other guy would be like, look, come on, everybody's fucking staring at us, come on, we need to go. And it was just 10 minutes of her like screeching like a banshee and like saying she wouldn't go. But eventually this security dude was like, look, okay, I'm calling the police if you don't go. And that seemed to knock some sense into her, which is another reason that makes me think that it was something drug related.
Yeah.
Because if it was an abuse thing, surely she'd be like, well, you'd think anyway, she'd be like, let him come so that, you know, they can take me home because I don't want to go with this guy, you know, something like that. But no, the second he was like, look, I'm gonna have to call the cops if you're not gonna leave. She was like, oh, she wanted to go then.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. She was like really fucking screaming down the Leeds train station. And this dude was just essentially, he didn't, this guy, and once again, another thing that makes me think this wasn't abuse is when this guy had got her out of the train station, he walked one way and she walked another. So
it just seemed like a guy who was just being helpful then.
Yeah, he might not have even like known her or anything. He might have just been a dude that's like, come on, love, you know.
Yeah.
Stop screeching like a banshee in fucking Leeds train station. So, who knows? But yeah, so that's my contribution. I contemplated like following her a bit, but I was like, that gets the point of like being a bit stalkery. That so I sat and had my McDonald's.
You can't
and, like,
go that far. I mean, I'm up for content too, but
I was like, that's too far. That so I was like, right, they've. With the listening in as well, having a McDonald's is I'm not too ashamed of listening into that, because the thing is, she was being so loud with it. There was no way not to listen in. Like the entire train station heard what was going on. It's just I was taking note of it while it was going on for my podcast. So
yeah. Good.
That's what I got for you.
Well, job well done in the field agent, Jordan. Well done, you did it.
In the field of freaks.
In the field of freaks. Oh god, it's like in what is it that like old wartimey song or whatever? Or am I thinking of the Cliffs of Dover? I'm trying
the White Cliffs of Dover.
Oh,
the field
dear.
of freaks.
Well, there we go. Fantastic freak. Speaking of freaks who were screaming at the top of their lungs, I've got a little something for you. Okay. How do I set this up? Can you hear audio if I share? If I share my screen?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
How's that? Is this working? I might have just killed Judd. Oh fuck. Oh, Judd, are you there? Are you there? Hello, Judd?
No, I'm here.
Okay, fuck.
I am here. Did you end the stream? Hello?
Could you still hear me through all of that?
Yes.
I couldn't hear you. Were you saying anything?
I was saying I'm still here.
Okay, well I couldn't hear you. I'm going to send you a link instead. So just load that up. And we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch the moment that the uncensored moment Will Smith smacks Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars.
Don't have to watch this again because I've probably watched it about 20 times.
Oh my god, it's insane.
Yeah.
Have you lined it up? Is it at the beginning?
Yeah, it's at the beginning.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, play.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife.
Oh my god. We have to commentate over this so that we don't get copyright claimed. Now,
can't win.
Chris Rock. What do you think? You like Chris Rock?
Praying that Will Smith wins. Like,
different to Chris Rock. Chris Rock's never done me no harm.
He was Melman in
can't wait to see it.
Madagascar. See, the joke's kind of a bit shitty, but it's... I mean, it's not a good joke.
A little bit, yeah.
It weren't worth it for how offensive it was either. It weren't as good enough a joke for how offensive it was. But, well... I'm sorry, but it looks funny. It just looks funny.
Will Smith smacked the shit out of me.
God, people think it's a stunt.
It's not. It's definitely not.
No, but in the audience...
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Yeah.
It's this point where people are like...
Out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to, okay?
I'm going to.
All right?
What's funny about that is that I know that's what I would have said as well.
Like, Chris Rock is like, holy shit, wow.
Okay.
Oh, bless him. I mean...
Yeah. It kept going. It kept the show going.
The whole thing with that is that people have been saying is basically they've been saying they're both assholes, and it's like, yeah, that's I guess
That's show business.
It is true, but yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
So
it's just crazy. The whole thing's just crazy. It's yeah. I don't like her. I don't like Jada. I'll say that first of all.
No, I'm not a fan either. But I don't know. I don't think like that joke was in bad taste. Sometimes, right? If the joke's good enough, you can get away with how offensive it is, right?
Yeah. But
it just weren't a good joke either, you know? So, and for how, like, offensive it is kind of offensive. If you don't know, Jada Smith has alopecia. She does. And, so she's, like, next to bald, basically. This is Will Smith's wife. And, it was a joke about that because she's got, like, a bald head. And G.I. Jane, it's female G.I. Joe in the movie she has like a buzz cut, nearly bald head, and he was basically saying, "Oh, you look like you're probably going to be playing her."
Yeah.
And I don't know their relationship outside of that. It might be that he knows that family really well, and she jokes about being bald all the time. And like, I don't know. It's like I think if there's someone going to come out of this who is actually the bad person, it's Will Smith. Because there's context where that joke can be okay. It could be, but slapping someone in public like that on stage at the Oscars isn't okay. There's not a scenario where that could have been okay on Will Smith's part,
Yeah.
But the last thing I'll say about it is it looked fucking funny. That was the best joke of the night.
That's what I've said through the whole thing. Is whenever somebody says my stance on it, I've said, well, let me just start off by saying the whole situation is extremely funny.
Yeah, it just looked good.
And I'll tell you what as well. That's some very good form from Will. That's a very good slap. Well,
the thing is, it was a slap as well, which is a bit pathetic in it. You could have punched him.
No.
Imagine
It was...
Will Smith walks up to Chris Rock after being that pissed off and straight up knocks him out. Full on knocks him out. Can you imagine that? That would have been insane.
Like I said to my nan when we were talking about it. He never. I don't think he ever went up on that stage with with the real intention of really wanting to hurt him. Because if he really, really wanted to hurt him, he would have punched him. What he wanted to do was essentially just be like, "Yo, don't talk about my wife," and that was a slap. He needed a slap for that. It wasn't, he didn't.
I think it was just a heated moment, and in the moment, you were like, "I'm standing up. I'm going to fuck this guy up," and.
Yeah.
As he was walking up, he had a little bit of time to think about what was exactly what was happening. So he decided to switch it to a slap last minute. Ghostan says, to be fair, that would open up a can of worms. Are bald jokes in general in poor taste? Because bald jokes are a human staple. No, there's a difference between bald jokes and alopecia jokes. If you make a bald joke about someone who's got alopecia and they're not cool with that, that's instantly more offensive. But equally, just... who fucking cares, man? Like, why are you so offended is the other thing. Like, you have to have a bald head. Who gives a shit? If enough people get offended by me saying that about someone with alopecia, I'll shave my fucking head and show you how little I give a shit. Because honestly, it doesn't fucking matter that much. It's hair on your head, Yeah.
We
should have evolved past it at this point anyway. So, like, that's kind of a bit of my stance against doing that. I get that she potentially finds that insensitive, but like there's certain levels of things that just like, I don't know, I just don't think they matter. And it's hard to say because some things matter to some people, some things matter to others. That's a valid point as well. It's all a bit difficult, isn't it? But all that we can say from our stance of it is it looked funny and it gets us a title for this podcast.
It was all a very funny situation. I'll be honest as well. This isn't me just saying this either. I do actually find like shorter hair or even like a shaved head on some women like quite attractive. I actually think it can be. I think Jada actually looks good with that short of hair. I don't like Jada. I actually think she's a bit of a cunt, but I do think she looks all right with the shorter hair. When Pink had like a shaved head, I thought Pink looked really good with it. So I actually think some women with shaved heads look really good.
Ghostan says there's always the possibility of it was all staged. With current Oscar ratings, wouldn't be surprising. You know what? I mean, when the whole like audience like dies down, it's like, oh fuck, this is serious. That's the moment where like that seems legit. Having said that, I've seen some of Will Smith's really good acting, because he can fucking act his socks off. I mean, he won that Oscar that night, which was very awkward, when he won it after he'd slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. But so he could pull that off. And like, when I was watching it, I was like, you know what, he could be acting here. Because he can pull that off. It's not like it was someone like Lady Gaga, right? Well, actually, that's maybe a bad example. Maybe, what about like Jack Black? How about Jack Black?
Yeah.
Jack Black hasn't shown, great actor, loves a bunch of stuff he's in. He hasn't shown the right acting chops to pull that off, seriously. Whereas Will Smith has, so it's a little bit awkward. And he did win the Oscar. I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. It'd take a lot of covering up. I think it'd quite easily be unveiled as fake otherwise. And plus, I think Will Smith is quite troubled, especially with the past that's gone on with his wife cheating on him, all sorts of stuff. The main thing to come out of this is a bunch of people being like, Will Smith's not happy for Chris Rock to have his wife's name in his mouth, but he's happy for someone else's dick in his wife's mouth.
Yeah.
That is kind of funny. Ghostan says it's also kind of ironic since Chris Rock himself did a whole documentary about how much black women value their hair called Good Hair. Did he? Let me Google this.
He did do a documentary called Good Hair, which was all about how much black women value their hair.
2009 film. Yeah, I know that it's part. I think it's part of black culture, though, isn't it? It's like. But that doesn't mean you can't make a joke about a black woman who's bald, though. I don't.
Yeah, I think it's
a comedy. It's not like a documentary. It's a comedy. It's like it looks. Have you seen the poster for this shit? It looks stupid. It looks like he's taking the piss out of black women's hair.
I thought it was a comedy. I mean, I thought it was a documentary. To be honest, I have no idea.
No. It looks like a Cheech and Chong type of thing. It looks like it looks like an epic movie. It looks I don't know. It's all a bit. I think both parties are at least a little bit wrong. And I think that's the general sentiment of most people as well. But if you had to pick a side, I'm gonna just slightly fall on Chris Rock here, I think. Anyway, that's that. What a fun spectacle that was. Speaking of fun spectacles, that was. I don't know, I'm trying to transition into something else. I've been going to the skate park a lot recently, and much like when Judd's on his break at work, the skate park I go to, all sorts of crazy shit goes down around there. Mm-hmm. And last time I went to the skate park, there was it was quite quiet, actually. It was a nice day, nice sunny day, and it was quite quiet, and I was like, oh, this is fun. It's not going to be any stories out of this, but it's fun. But then this kid came. He'd obviously, I don't know where he was watching me from. He'd obviously seen me skating about. I was like, oh, skateboards, yeah, they're cool. I've got one of those somewhere.
Yeah.
And came out to try and skate, and I saw him bring this battered old skateboard to this skate park that's covered in glass and shit. And he looked like he were about 4 to me. I asked him how old he was, and he said he was 7. I was like, fuck me, surely I wasn't that small when I was 7. Oh my god. And I was like, oh my god. And he didn't try and scoot along or anything. First thing he did was go on this ramp, and I was like, oh fuck me, he's gonna fall on his face and bust his head open or something.
Oh god, that'd be so funny.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Unfortunately, and I knew that he'd not skated before. He just goes down this ramp.
Yeah,
just did it. He didn't fall. He kind of slid off of it a few times, and then I said to him, "Oh, you need to lean forward a bit more, and you'll have that." And then this other kid who were a bit older came up to him and said, "Oh, I'll hold you and lean forward a bit." And next try, he just fucking did it. He just fucking did it. Goes down this ramp, and honestly, it was quite impressive. That's all I've got to say about it. To be honest, it was just impressive. This kid looked like he shouldn't be able. He'd learned to walk yesterday, so it looked really weird seeing him skate down this ramp while being so small. But there was another person that ended up skating that wasn't so small.
Right.
I decided to go to the pub after skating for my tea. Just had to get a bit of tea at the pub, and I sat in a corner, and I put my skateboard against the bench I was sat on, and these two blokes went out. They were going out at the pub for one of them to have a cig, and one of them saw my skateboard, and he went, "Oh, gives a go." And I thought, oh, he's probably taking piss a bit, oh, gives a go, because where we live, skateboarding, nah. it's not. You don't do that. It's not the thing. But initially, I wanted to be laugh it off, oh yeah, all right, type of thing.
Yeah.
But then I remembered your commitment to the content last week, Judd. I remembered you followed that gross fat fellow around. It wasn't gross because he was fat. He was throwing up. That's the gross bit. So I was like, I'm going to take up this guy's offer. So I was like, all right then. And we went outside, and this guy was like, he was a little bit taller than me, and he was fat. Like, he was like, not like really fat, like just a little bit fatter than me. And I'm quite fat. You know, he was just a little bit more rotund than me. And he were, well, he weren't old, but he was definitely older than me as well. And I'm 25 at this point. He might have been like 32. Like, maybe more, I don't know. And I was thinking, this is going to be good. He's going to, like, just skate along and, like, put his arms out and stand, like, embarrassingly going, look at me, or something like that. No, he gets out there and does the fucking sickest trick I've seen in my life. Like, honestly, he was fucking going at it. He was doing, like, fakey big spin, nollie heel flips. He was, like, fucking all over the place with this shit. This is on my, like, cheap-ass skateboard. It's like, it was 20 quid, this skateboard. It's not expensive. And oh my, and you're like, oh, and I've only had 5 pints. It's like, fuck me, what's going on? How have I found, like, some sort of skate prodigy in, like, this random pub in the middle of Yorkshire? What's going on here? It was just crazy, and he kept, I don't know, he just kept talking to me about skating. I just thought it was really weird. It was like, it was almost like, you know, sometimes in kung fu movies, how you see like that really drunk old guy who like accidentally gets into a bar fight and he starts drunken like kung fuing them all. Yeah, they were a bit like that, but with skating. And I think he expected me to be better than I am as well, because he like did this like really high ollie, and I'm like, I can like maybe get it off the ground on a good day. Like, by a tiny bit. So I give it a go. And I actually did best fucking ollie of my life. But it was still, only half an inch off the floor. You know? So, it was, I don't know. It was just a fun moment all round. I got mildly worried when he wanted to drive me to another skate park to skate around. I was like, nah, I gotta go home, man. I ain't doing that shit. But it was quite funny because he was with an older like guy. I think they'd obviously come from like a labourer type of job. He was with this other older guy, like who might have been like 60 something. Who were just like kind of confused by the whole thing, because he were a proper like Yorkshire fella. Like he were like, he was not into skateboarding at all, and anything like that were a bit out of the ordinary. Like, oh, I don't understand what the fuck that is. You know, if you were with a bunch of other like guys like him, they'd be like, the fuck is that? What the fuck they're doing out there? You know, they'd probably been like that. But because he were this guy who were good, and me who were, you know, obviously I'd brought a skateboard, he was kind of just watching like, yeah, that were good, weren't it? He did a big spin, you know, spun around a bit. So, I don't know. He even stood on it. He even stood on a skateboard and went, whoa, he is so.
Nice.
So there you go. But you participated in a sport, kind of, recently.
I did.
You weren't
I
the
wasn't
one
a sport,
doing the
of.
sport.
I don't know how much I was sweating. Yeah, maybe. But.
The one in the sport was a horse. En hest, as the Svensks say. Jude went to the races. How was that, Jude? Tell me all about it.
So I went to the races for Mother's Day of all things.
Do they have the races in America?
The horse races. They'll definitely have horse racing.
Yeah,
in
the
America.
ones where they bet on it and all that.
Yeah, of course they do. And essentially, YDL, the company I work for.
Oh, did you want to throw that out there? Oh, yikes!
I did.
You're gonna get sacked now.
The guy who was marrying my mum is essentially the co-owner of YDL.
Sorry, you cannot put it that politely. The guy who's viciously railing your mum's tight little hole is
the guy who's tearing my mum's cunt apart with his cock. Yes,
probably. I honestly think Wayne goes at it. Like I think Big Wayne. He fucking. I bet he's a good shag. You know.
I hope they have lots of sex. Good sex is a cornerstone of good marriage. So
yeah,
I hope they're going at it.
I reckon he's a big old slammer. You know,
I've heard that he's got a big whopper on him.
What, from your
I've heard
mum?
he's got a
Was
big
she telling you?
Yeah.
I expected you to go, no, from my nan. She's also got with him. And
She's also having to go on it. I'm hoping to have a go soon.
we all take it in turns. It's all gross.
Wayne Crossland fucks the entire Dooley family.
You had to say his full name, as well as your family name as well. Wow. That's out there now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh well.
Why don't you
so
mention
anyway,
all of your mum's ex-husbands so that they can get mad at that as well?
I tell you what, I'll just give you my uncle's full name and address as well.
Bless him. He's an accomplished actor. His whole career's going downhill now. It's gone. Yeah. That's it.
By association to the Games Badly podcast.
Oh, Games Badly. I haven't been called that name in a long time.
Yeah, so anyway, so YDL has like a box at the races. And
whoa, that's fancy.
I thought it'd be like so I didn't know it was YDL's own private box. I thought it was we were just having a box,
renting a box,
yeah, for the race. But no, it's YDL's box. Like it says on the outside it says on the outside, you know, Yates Drywall Limited, like it's like their box. And when you go in, they've even got like a glass sort of like plaque up of like the company logo. And when you walk out onto the balcony, the glass doors of the balcony also have the company logo like on them.
Okay, we get it. This sounds very violent. Yeah. You're emphasizing this a lot. I feel like you give a shit like a lot. It has the company logo on the walls.
I know, it's sick. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Your mic's peeking all over the place. It's like, oh god.
So anyway, we got in this cool little box, and
I'm sorry, said the cat. It's like what cats. So cats do when you got like an empty box, and it's like, so I got in this cool box. That's the Cat Cast Badly podcast.
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking? You sounded sane.
I've just tickled myself on I like to imagine an alternate universe of this podcast where it's two cats hosting it, and one of the cats just crawled in a box on its own around, and it's like, so I was in this cool box, and it's saying the same thing.
One of them takes a long draw on a cigarette and then just goes, I found this cool fucking box.
I'm sorry for derailing your story, but I just found that so funny.
Right, okay, so we're in this box, and there's a full bar in it, so you can get drinks whenever you want. There was catering. We got.
There's another alternate universe where there's two bars.
Oh fuck! That's not even.
It's like, so there's this cool human in there. I'm so sorry.
Let me talk about my fucking race. There was a bar in the box where you could get like drinks whenever you want, and you also got food as well. Like you had a free course meal like just given to you. So it was all very fancy. And of course, because I'm at the races and I love a good gamble, I gambled.
How much did you win?
Well, I started off and there was 6 or 7 races on for the day, and it got to like the second to last race had just finished, and I'd spent about 80 quid betting and won 30 back. So I wasn't doing very good. Oh. And then the last race came around, and you can if you're in the boxes, if you walk outside the box, there is like a little kiosk thing where you can just like put bets on at a kiosk inside the thing. But you could also just like walk down to the racetrack, and there's like little booths for the bookies set up, and they actually have better odds on than the one just outside the box. So I was having a walk down onto the racetrack, and I was just looking at what horses were in on the last race, and I was looking at this one horse, and it was called What's the Wi-Fi code? And I was looking at it.
Hold on, no. Yeah, you're not brushing past that. That's pissed me off.
What? That it's called What's the Wi-Fi code?
Yeah, I'm annoyed at that.
Okay.
I don't like that. That's
you can be
annoyed me.
you can be annoyed at it.
That's made me. That's some bullshit boomer humor that's got me going. Actually,
but
as
I
much as
thought-
the fact that my mum literally wore a live, laugh, love necklace the other day, and I looked at it and went, "Ew."
Yeah. But I thought that was something stupid that my granddad had asked me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put a tenner on that horse for the last race, and just for a laugh. So I put it on, and in the race it was number 7. So I'm stood in the box watching the final race, and number 8 is out in front, just running away with it, and I just thought to myself, "Oh fucking hell! Well, here we go. That's another tenner gone then." And as I'm watching this race, and I'm watching it sort of come up to the last hurdle, number 7, Mr. What's the Wi-Fi code, comes out of nowhere and just starts fucking barreling it down the racetrack, and he just managed to like pull ahead.
Oh my god!
just
I thought,
crossing the finish line.
Thank God for that. I thought you'd frozen right when we were about to find out the result. I thought your internet had died then. I was gonna go crazy.
No, I'm here. So 7, what's the Wi-Fi code? Just pulled out and just fucking won it, and I won £170. So there you go. It was a good day.
Well,
I threw both hands up into the air and I went, I am so fucking lucky.
good God.
Yeah.
I've got no response. Like, every time it happens, I'm just like, oh, well, here we go again. Good Lord. Honestly,
Yeah.
you know what you should do? You should, like, start a professional career in gambling. But like most people who do that, they play a game that does have at least an element of skill to it, like poker.
Yeah.
Just don't bother. Just go out and fucking gamble and just live your life.
No, I know. I'm just going to do roulette. So I'm just going to fucking sit at roulette tables and just watch as everybody gets more and more angry when my fucking number comes up every time.
What's the actual way to enjoy gambling? Just to reinforce this, our official statement on gambling, or at least mine, is you need to see it as the same as just like a day out. You know, if you went to like a theme park, you might think, I've paid for my tickets and I've got a budget of about 40 quid that I might spend on some of the arcade games, like a bit of food, things like that. Well, that budget of 40 quid or whatever, that's, if you go to races, that's your budget to lose on the races. Just expect to lose that. And then, as far as I'm concerned, if you spend it and then you actually end up with, say you won on something that got you 60 quid, I'd be like, oh, cool, okay. I'm done gambling then. And that's kind of my attitude to when it comes to anything like that. I've never been interested in gambling though. I have to say, I just don't find it massively fun. I like stuff that requires some of my skill. So poker's one of my favourites, but my big problem with poker is it takes other people, and I ain't got any friends or anything. So I think blackjack is I kind of like that one. That one's all right, but again, you kind of need other people to play that when it comes to gambling.
Not necessarily. You only really need you and the dealer to play a blackjack.
Well, exactly. So you kind of need other people. So those would be the ones that I guess I'd be most interested in. Anything else, like a slot machine, like the Kachunka ones or whatever.
Yeah.
It's boring. It's a boring video game to me. If there's ever a video game where that's like a mini game you can play.
Yeah.
I actively hate that element of a game that's like that. There's a part of that of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, I think Emerald as well, that had that involved. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing any of this. I just don't like it. It's just boring. It's boring. It's awful, just stupid, not enjoyable mechanics that you can't do anything about. So, and it's similar with horses, I guess, in that unless you've got some wacky inside knowledge, it's just guessing which one will be fast. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't particularly like that I can't really influence it at all. I sometimes it's fun for a bit of a novelty. And if I'm ever going to gamble at all, it's normally on boxing fights where I know about it. Like, I don't want to toot my own dick, but I rarely get boxing fight outcomes wrong. Like, I get the outcome of boxing fights right more often than I get it wrong. Definitely. 100%. Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. I wanted Kell Brook to win. I said he probably will win, and I said he'd probably win by knockout, and he did win by, well, I didn't mean knockout, technical knockout, and he won by technical knockout. We had Deji, every single Deji fight. You know, I don't think Deji will win a fight. There's been Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Same prediction there. Only one recently I can think that I've kind of got wrong was Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. I thought it'd be really difficult, but Joshua would end up getting a TKO, but he didn't. And now that I've seen more of them both, I think Usyk will win next time. So, that's the only thing I'd bet on, but only because I'm really into it and I kind of have knowledge of these things. And I remember the last time I betted on a fight was when Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather. And I bet on Logan Paul to knock out Floyd Mayweather. And this is not because I thought that would happen. It was because the odds were just insane. Because of course they would be. And I just thought it would be so fucking funny if I won about £300 on Logan Paul knocking out one of the greatest boxers to ever do it. What actually happened was the rules of the fight were released and a knockout wasn't allowed, so I got a refund plus a little bit of compensation. So I actually made a little bit of money, but only in betting money. Like, I couldn't withdraw it, so I had to spend it. And plus, it was one of those where you put down like £5 and you get £20 worth to bet with. Yeah. So it was all that sort of thing. Because I never bet, I end up getting those deals every single time. So that's what that was. But I think the next fight, I just bet on fights basically. And the next fight I'll bet on will probably be Anthony Joshua against Alexander Usyk again. Or maybe Tyson Fury and Dillian White. Maybe. I don't know. Tyson Fury will win that. Anyway, but speaking of boxing, some fights I might bet on are the latest YouTube boxing fights. Now, I like to tell you about these, Judd. I didn't tell you about the last YouTube boxing fight that happened. The last YouTube boxing fight. Oh, did I? Did I tell you about that one where there were a bunch of headbutts and shit?
No, you didn't tell me that.
Okay, so there was Showstar Boxing UK versus US card. I think I told you about this. Yeah, I did tell you about it. I didn't tell you what happened, but I told you all the fights. So there was Salt Papi versus Halal. We'll get to the more up-to-date boxing YouTube boxing fights that haven't happened yet, but just bear with me with talking about this first. Let me tell you about this. Salt Papi versus Halal Ham. Do you know Salt Papi?
I've never heard of him. You
know Salt Bae, the big old meme where he like goes with his arm? You know that one?
No.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Fucking hell, Judd.
What's that?
What, are you playing a video game right now? You normally are.
I am, but I'm listening to you.
Yeah, but I wanted you to Google something.
I can Google something. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just fucking about on Fallout. I'm not
Google image search on Fallout. I thought you said Fortnite. Google image search Salt Papi. He is on TikTok. He does this thing where he puts some salt in his hand. He does a sexy rub his hand move, and then all the salt lands on his food, and he's like, ugh. And it's like this kind of. It's like that was kind of funny, and he does it on TikTok, so he gets like 20 billion views for it. Then he's against Halal Ham. Okay, so Halal Ham is like from. Right. He's got heritage in somewhere in the Middle East to like Western Asia, something like that. That sort of area of the world. He's got, he was in a YouTube boxing card, KSI versus Logan Paul 1, and he won there reasonably convincingly because he's done boxing before. So those two fought. It was weird as fuck. Halal Ham got this do you remember when I used to show you when I was a kid all those like UK battle rap scene things where they didn't have a beat underneath, they'd just kind of like battle rap against each other.
Yeah.
And the most notable from it was Luna C. Do you remember that? Does that ring a bell?
I remember Luna C. Yeah.
I almost went to see him live, actually, but that's a story for another day. So Halal Ham brought one of those type of guys to do like a little like few bars insulting his opponent, literally 10 seconds before they were about to fight. And it no beat, no nothing. It was weird. And not only was it weird, it was like quite a lot racist. Like all these lines they were using, they were like they weren't funny. Like they were just like they weren't funny or clever or anything. He were just being a cunt. Like he was just being a racist cunt before this fight.
Nice.
I was like, what the fuck? And the commentary team were like, what is this guy doing? Can someone get this retard out of here? What the fuck is this? And but it was fine because Salt Pappy went on to absolutely batter him, and it was the best fight. I ended up watching this in a shopping centre on my phone, but it's probably the best fight actually, if anything. Next we had Stromedy versus Austin Sprints. What was this shit? What happened in this one? It was that was an alright fight. I think Stromedy won. I can't remember, who cares. So next was, I don't know if this even happened, Ashley Kane versus Andreas Eskander. I literally don't even remember that, if anything happened in it. So anyway, Ryan Taylor versus DK Money. Now, this would have been your favourite fight of the night. Because it were basically this proper, like, hard lad seeming fella from, like, Birmingham or something like that against, like, this American guy who makes money on motorbikes or some shit. I don't know. I'm probably mixing that. So I watched the build-up to all these fights, and this, like, hard lad guy from UK he seemed actually quite, like, scary. A little bit scary. Like, I would have fought him, and I wouldn't have been scared of boxing him. But, like, that's not me calling him out by any means. But, like, in the streets, like, in real life, I genuinely probably would be a bit scared of this fella. So I was like, this guy has got the animal instinct. I think he will win. That guy lost. But the thing is that I proposed to you, Judd, while your face is frozen. Did he lose? Because what actually happened was he fully fucking headbutted the guy. He grabbed him and nutted him right in the face.
Nice.
And obviously, you cannot do that in boxing. And it was really annoying because, like, they'd only been fighting about 10 seconds or so. And he was getting, like, the upper hand mostly. They got into a bit of a clinch. And he just grabbed him and just headbutted the fuck out of this American. Just slammed his head into his face. Really obvious. Now, that's a shitty thing to do in a boxing fight. You know, it's just bullshit. Yeah. It's just annoying and fucking stupid. And he got disqualified for it, so the other guy won. But at the time, this American fella got booed more by a long way, and in my opinion, fucking serves him right. Because immediately, as soon as he knew he got headbutted, he started rolling around on the floor. Oh my god! I'm fucking dying! And literally, I'm being serious. It were about 5 minutes with him going, I'm like, get up, you little bitch! You've won already. They've declared you to be the winner by disqualification, and he's still going, and you know, oh fuck you! Both of them came out of that looking like absolute fools. By the way, I was watching this live with my girlfriend's dad, trying to convince him that this is reasonably legitimate, don't worry. And then that happens. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, that's fine. This is a guy who's literally in the military and like, organises Air Force and shit, like a proper fella. And he was like, yeah, not convinced. Anyway, next. Oh god, he watched this one as well. Arms Corleone. Now look up that guy. ARMZ.
Okay.
KOR. Okay, ARMZ. Space KORLEONE.
I've got him.
Look at this guy. He's jacked as fuck.
Yeah.
And he fought Minicon right? This fight was really close, and it went to the judges, and the UK guy won because it was in the UK, basically. It was really close. If anything, I might have given it to Minicon, maybe. In the build-up to it, I was like, come on, this is a bit of a mismatch, because Minicon, if you want to look him up, you don't have to, doesn't look anywhere near as jacked as that guy, not even close. Yeah. But, you know, similar heights and stuff. Arms Corleone won just. But after the fight, he was literally, like, passing out, flopping over the ring. Like, he was fucked. It was absolutely fucked. They had to put him on oxygen, ringside. Cameras were all over him. And people were like, his opponent were like, fucking, you're telling me that guy won this fight, right?
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was crazy. Next up, if I tell you the name Vitaly. Do you know Vitaly?
I do.
YouTuber Vitaly?
Vitaly is a name I've heard before on the internet, but
do you
I don't
know what
he's
done before? Some of his crazy things he's done.
I have no idea.
He was a prankster YouTuber, classic back in the day.
Right.
He famously naked streaked the Super Bowl, I believe, and then went on to film a porno. Where his dick was famously small and he couldn't get it up, and he kind of basically watched this other guy fuck the girl. I think that I don't actually know if that's the case, but that's kind of my memory of when people told me about it. He fought this guy called Kristen Hanby. Now, this was a mismatch. They shouldn't have fought each other. They were different weight classes completely. Kristen Hanby had to get kind of chubby to reach the same sort of weight as Vitaly. And it wasn't particularly fair. But these guys had the biggest bad blood going in. Like, it was mental, the kind of shit that was said between these two. And Kristen Hanby, so Jay from In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
There you go. And then, you know, Vitaly. So, like, that was the fight. And fucking hell, it was crazy. I think it was 4 2-minute rounds. Kristen Hanby was winning. Firmly. He shouldn't have been. He was in the wrong weight class, but he was winning. He was, like, sticking and moving, like, reasonably okay, compared to Vitaly, who was, like, just, like, swinging like a bit of a juggernaut.
Yeah.
But then, at some point, when Kristen maybe got tired, I don't know what happened, why he decided to do this, the headbutt tactic came out again. And this time, he did it. They showed the slow-mo replay, and it was like, it weren't anywhere near as obvious as the last time. It was like, I think it was a deliberate headbutt, but you could give him the benefit of the doubt. You could.
Yeah.
I guess. It looked kind of like it, but you could, if you had to stretch. So fine, okay, carry on. Then he did it again. And I think he did it again. And he didn't get penalised for it at all. And it ended up being a draw. And I was like, what? What? No! And then, the post-fight interview, he fucking admitted to it! He admitted that he did that on purpose, on instinct. I'm like, well, okay, well, you're disqualified then, right? You know, judges overturn it, and right now, and you're disqualified, because you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Fuck me, they didn't. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. Co-main event, King Kenny is part of Beta Squad. You heard of them?
No.
Black Sidemen.
I thought were they not already black, the Sidemen? Or most of them?
Yeah, 2 of them are. One of them's brown.
Oh,
2 are
right,
black.
okay.
That's not a racist thing. It's just a thing. Okay. Look, so they're like the easiest way to describe Beta Squad to people is saying they're like more black cultured Sidemen. Very funny fellas. Very, are
they more black cultured, or are they more? Are they black?
Well, they're all
and
black.
cultured?
Like, they're all black, as far as I know. But obviously, so they're more like, he's kind of leans a bit more towards like black culture. Yeah. You know, great group as well. My favourite's Nico Amalana. I think it's everyone's favourite. There's Chunks. You know Chunks? Have you heard of him? He's from there.
No, I've not heard of any of these people.
So King Kenny's one of that group. He's against FaZe Temper from FaZe Clan. There's a lot more I could tell you. You won't fucking give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, FaZe Temper won that. It wasn't, like, massively obvious, but it was like, you know, he did win, though. You know, pretty probably. And then they announced King Kenny as the winner.
Oh.
Load of bollocks is what that was. And do you know what it was? The UK crowds for YouTube boxing are fucking insane. And literally, this shows how insane they were. There was a statement released by the governing body, the people who kind of the bosses of the judges who were there, to say, we're overturning that fight. Fate's Temper definitely won. And that's the official verdict. However, the reason our judges scored it how we did on the night was because of immense social pressure and crowds, essentially, they were going to, fuck the judges up if the judges felt danger for themselves if they didn't, rule the UK guy to win. It's oh my God, how many fucking pathetic 14-year-olds are going to act like massive hard lads and ruin these events? Fuck off. When the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake Paul, came, you saw the scenes. There was people throwing paint cans at them and everything. It's fuck off. I like the reputation of, if you come to England and you're fucking going against our guy, fuck you. I like that. Don't start ruining events because of it, though. There is a line not to cross there. Okay, Deji versus Alex Wasabi. I actually genuinely thought Deji won. Everyone since that fight has been like, Deji, what the fuck are you doing? You didn't even throw a punch. I need to rewatch the fight again. I've not watched it since I watched it live. I genuinely thought Deji just edged that fight, but they declared Alex Wasabi the winner, who was the American guy. Everyone I've watched and I trust within the fighting judging realm says that Alex Wasabi won, so I think if I rewatch it, I'll probably agree with that. But that's that anyway. That's that event. We're moving on, Judd. We're moving on. That's literally as quick as I can go through that event because so much stupid shit happened. To a new YouTube boxing event. I think this is the one that you will watch with me. Right?
I will because I'm pretty sure I know about the same event.
I think you do because there's never been more YouTubers that you're interested in competing with these events. Bear in mind, this will be in America. We'll probably have to be up at 3 a.m. while 6 a.m. to watch this. But I want to. I want to watch this. I think you know the headlines and stuff like that, but I'm going to save it. And I'm going to go from the bottom of the card. So the first fight is a mystery. There's still yet to book some people for this. And then the first fight we're aware of is Michael Reeves versus Graham Stephen. So Michael Reeves is... Who? Who's that? Do you know who that is?
Michael Reeves is... Hold on, let me see if I'm...
Isn't he part of a group channel or something?
Yeah, so Michael Reeves is the little nerdy dude who makes all the robots for stupid shit. He makes robots.
Okay.
That's what he does.
He's got 6.6 million subscribers. Honestly, this could be the event with the most audience for it. Genuinely. Against fucking Graham Stephen. Do you know this guy? He's essentially one of the... You know, that advert that you used to see where it's here's my fucking Lamborghini. Here's why you need... I can't remember. He's become a bit of a meme. Do you know the one I'm on about?
Yeah.
He's one of those. He's a financial advisor.
What's up, you guys?
He's a financial advisor. So he's fighting. I would never imagine he would be fighting in one of these things. What the fuck?
God. Although I never would have thought Michael Reeves would have been fighting in one of these.
It's insane. I don't know how this has happened. Now, this is already a glimpse into what I'm worried for this event. And I'll tell you why right at the end, in depth. But I'm genuinely, from what I like about YouTube boxing, I think I could fucking hate this event. But we'll get to that. So them two, they're fighting. That's right there. Nearly 10 million subs on YouTube. We're not talking TikTok numbers here. TikTok numbers are different. 10 million on TikTok's not the same as nearly 10 million on YouTube. That's a massive audience. Insane for people who I never thought I'd be fighting. Next, I Did a Thing. That YouTube channel, you know that. You know I Did a Thing. They were on Cold One's podcast at one point. I think they're Australian. Nearly 2.9 million subscribers. Again, massive. The lowest level of a KSI main event, they have about 100,000 subs. We're talking lowest level, and they're pushing 3 million. This is insane. So I Did a Thing does interesting shit. I don't know what you want to say. So they're quite, they're quite well known. Versus The Odd Ones Out. Do you know The Odd Ones Out?
Yeah, wow. The fucking
fuck?
Odd Ones Out, yeah.
The Odd Ones Out is, maybe the biggest animation YouTuber with 17.7 million subscribers. If you're talking audience-wise, this guy should be fighting KSI. This guy has got over 7 million more subs than Deji. This guy has got kind of the similar amount to Deji and Alex Wasabi combined, right? This guy doesn't have a sternum. He doesn't have the biggest bone in your rib cage. Are you kidding me? Now he's he's quite athletic, actually. I'm subscribed to him on his second channel. He's been working out quite a lot. He's a tall, reasonably athletic guy. So that, in theory, I know I did a thing's quite tall and he's not, I don't know how athletic he is, but I know he's in decent shape.
Yeah.
In theory, if those two guys take this really seriously, that could be a fucking good fight. However, I would definitely think I Did a Thing should win. You'd just hammer the guy's chest area,
I
wouldn't
Did
you?
a Thing's not gonna. Well, I Did a Thing's not gonna snap in half after the first fucking punch, is he? So
exactly. So it's fucking insane, honestly. And because I know it's a bit of a weird thing to say potentially, because Odd One's out, I think his name's James, doesn't have a sternum. This makes me think even more. Some even crazier bullshit's going to go down, which I will get into further on. Next fight, Matt Watson versus Dad.
yes,
Do you know Matt Watson?
Matt Watson is
You know Matt
one
Watson
of the
then?
two.
So he's got 165 subscribers on his personal channel. Tell me about Matt Watson.
Matt Watson is one of the duo of a channel called Super Mega. Super Mega do really funny videos.
Both of them are fighting, by the way.
I love both of the boys. I love Matt Watson and I love Ryan McGee. I've listened to the podcast Super Mega Cast for a very long time. I'm big fans. I'm a big fan of both the boys. So I know Matt Watson
what do they
and Ryan
do,
McGee
though?
very well.
Is it basically this podcast? Is that what we're doing? Are we doing that?
Yes, essentially.
Wait a minute. I'm looking at them both, and he's me, isn't he? That's me. That's me, and you're Ryan McGee.
Yeah. Matt Watson is you. Ryan McGee is me. They're us, but better. They're the better versions of us, essentially.
Cool.
They do sort of vlogs, and they do podcasts, and they do gaming videos. And they're funny. They're both really, really funny. They also do tours.
Well,
they do comedy tours.
He's fighting Dad. Anyway, you ever seen Dad? YouTube channel Dad?
No, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
From what I know, I've not looked into these channels very much. I'm pretty certain he is a bit kind of like Poppy. You know the channel Poppy? But he's a dad. Yeah. He kind of makes creepy things around this dad character. Next, Ryan McGee is the next fight, and he's fighting fucking Alex Ernst from David Dobrik's vlogs back in the day. What the fuck is that about? How the fuck? Alex Ernst won't, I don't know if he won't, or isn't even on David Dobrik's channel anymore. And he's having a boxing fight? What else going on here? This is insane.
He's a big guy, Ryan. He's a big guy.
Well, Alex used to be the hot one in David's vlogs, kind of, to a certain extent. And then put on a bit of weight. We're not talking a crazy amount, nowhere near as much as I've put on. But so maybe I can't see them being that close in weight. But then you know, it never matters that much when it comes to these things. Now, this is the fight. This is going to sound a bit weird. This is the fight I'm most interested in coming up next. It's a female YouTube boxing fight. That's why I'm most interested in it, because we've not had one of those yet. And I say in YouTube boxing, it's internet boxing, because one of them is a Twitch streamer, really. She has a YouTube channel, but she's a Twitch streamer. We've got Yodeling Haley. Don't know her. She might be an OnlyFans girl, for all I know. Yodeling Haley. Don't know her. Do you know her?
Don't know her.
Not a clue.
Don't know her.
TikTok. I think she's big on TikTok. 3.6 million on TikTok. There you go. Versus one you might know, Justa Minx. Do you know her? She's big in the Twitch community. She's Irish.
I've heard of her, but I've not.
And this again, I'm thinking, nah, like this is this is sus. Like, this is something going on here. I don't like. This is a bit. So for a fact that we've got the first female YouTube boxing fight, it's surprising it's not happened before for me. That I genuinely thought we would see like. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
YouTube bitch fights do sound like they'd be pretty entertaining to watch.
Oh my god! Can you imagine doing an entire boxing card that's only female YouTubers and calling it YouTube bitch fights, or even OnlyFans?
Yeah.
You know, people. You know, Corinna Kopf would be top of that from David Dobrik's vlogs
Oh
against
my God,
Belle Delphine could be on it.
Jake,
do we know any more of them?
Jake, they could call it Only Fights.
Only Fights.
Only Fights.
Okay, we're patenting that right now. We're gonna do it. We're gonna organise this. Like, how do we patent a thing? How do we copyright something? I don't know. But we could. What's the? I'm sure I know the name of another one. Those are the only two. Like only. Oh, Mia, something else beginning with M. She was a porn actress, and I think she probably only does OnlyFans now. She was also on Cold Ones, I think, or something like that. That's why Riley Reid, she could be on it. We know Riley Reid and what's her face who dated Logan Paul's mate,
no
Lana Rhodes. Yeah, all of them on it. It'd be great. So anyway, yeah, this is I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Hundar. Do you know Hundar? I don't know Hundar.
Never heard of them.
Don't know Hundar versus AB, who I think helps run the H3 podcast.
Right. Okay.
That's a low level fight to me. That should be the first fight. Like they're the least famous people, surely. Then we've got two mystery fights who haven't been booked yet. So that's 4 more people. Then I don't know if it's the co-main event, but what could be considered a co-main event? Your boy, who you like, Ego Raptor, is fighting.
No.
Do you like him? Do you not? What?
No.
Okay. Who Judd doesn't
Ego
like.
Raptor,
Judd doesn't like, he hates him. Mortal enemy, actually. In fact, Judd's going to call him out after this fight.
I am. I'll fucking fight Aaron Hansen. He seems like a bitch.
I honestly, he could train with whoever he wants. If you trained with me and get committed to it, you'd win. You'd win that.
Oh,
how tall is Ego Raptor? Wait, thinking about it, I've looked this up. He's actually probably like a good foot taller than you.
I don't give a shit. He's a little bitch. I'd fucking slap. I'd slap Aaron's body.
He's taller than me.
I don't give a shit. Aaron used to be funny. Aaron, Ego Raptor, formerly Ego Raptor, when he was doing the animations on Newgrounds, he was funny. Everybody sort of saw everybody saw Ego Raptor as sort of like the godfather of Newgrounds animation. So that's how he got big. Then the other claim to fame he had was obviously when he made Game Grumps with JonTron. And when he started off Game Grumps, it was essentially two mates having a laugh playing games. But it fucking blew up because both Aaron and John had like very sort of like they worked really well together and they were really funny. But as they got bigger and bigger, Aaron got more and more corporate with the whole thing, which is probably one of the reasons why John left. Also, on top of the fact that he wanted to focus more on the JonTron show, he wanted to work more on his own
I
stuff.
know him from the JonTron Star Wars finale. That's the only thing I know him from.
Yeah, but essentially, it's stuff like the biggest thing that's annoyed me so far with Ego Raptor is somebody put out an animation about something, and I can't remember what it was, and Ego Raptor tweeted at this guy, and he was like, "Bro, you should animate about that. You should make cartoons about that, making fun of people. You shouldn't be making fun of people." And then literally everybody came out of the woodworks, like all of the Newgrounds, like animators and stuff, like all the people from Sleepy Cabin and everything.
Come on.
And they were like, "Dude, you made like your fame off of ripping into other shit. Like all of your Newgrounds videos were about making fun of other people." And then he also became sort of like really sort of SJW as well.
Yeah.
But when you watch his when you watch his older stuff, he says the N-word so many times. He says
let me tell you then, Judd, it's lucky that he's getting the opponent that he's getting, because the opponent he's fighting is Harley from Epic Mealtime.
Yeah. He's gonna get slapped about.
Now,
He's gonna get his shit pushed.
Egoraptor's tall. He's like nearly 6, just shy of 6'2". But Harley's like 6'6". He's fucking tall. So and he's not a slim 6'6" either. He's like I don't know as I'd say he's a chunky 6'6", but he's like I'm saying 6'6". I don't know if he's actually that
big
tall.
Guys.
But what's his height? 1.98 meters. Meters to feet. He's 6'5", so that's still a big difference. So yeah, I see Harley winning that.
Yeah.
But, however, I don't see him winning that. And I'll explain why a little bit later. In theory, he should, but anyway, on to the main event. The guy who's organised this whole shit, iDubbbz, is fighting in a boxing fight against none other than the one, the only, Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike?
Dr. Mike.
Who the fuck is Dr. Mike? Is the reaction you should be having. Because he's just a fucking doctor, is what he is. He's a doctor on YouTube. He's got 9.1 million subscribers, but he does like doctor-based stuff.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Now, in theory, right? Say these two are training to their full capabilities. Yeah. iDubbbz is probably going to die then. Dr. Mike's way bigger than him. I've already seen some training footage of Dr. Mike when he's talked about other fights that have happened and potential. I think I saw him comment on Jake Paul knocking out Tyron Woodley. I think I saw him comment from a doctor's perspective on that level of knockout.
Yeah.
And I saw some of him doing pad work with boxing off of the back of that. And there's no way. There's no way. Like, seriously. Fuck me.
You never watched the Dark Knight animated movie, did you? Or like read the comics of the Dark Knight stuff?
No, I
where
don't
he's
think
like
so.
where Bruce is like an old guy. There's a scene in it where he's fighting this like really big burly mutant Batman in like a mud pit. And there's this bit where he's like fighting him, and Batman says to this mutant, and he goes, "You don't get it, son. This isn't a mud pit. It's an operating table." And he just like starts punching him, and like all the places that he knows is like really vital. I just imagine it's gonna be like that. So he's just gonna like punching him in all this like vital shit.
He doesn't even need to know where to punch vitally. He doesn't even need that, honestly. Now, I'm going to get into why I think this could be my least favourite YouTube boxing event ever, because it's obviously not fucking serious, is it?
Yeah.
And this is the thing, right? I know iDubbbz and what he's like. I'm sure that, well, I don't know him personally and what he's truly like, but, you know, I've followed him for a while. I can just see how stupid he thinks YouTube boxing has been from the start of everything. And now, I swear to God, didn't he challenge someone to a boxing fight before YouTube boxing was even a thing?
He did. I think it was not Rice Gum.
Rice Gum, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think he was taking the piss then as well. But as we know, he just doesn't give a shit, does he? And I think that's the grounds he's convinced everyone on. I think he's convinced everyone, we're not going to fucking take this seriously. It's going to be the stupidest shit ever. And we're just going to, like, fight or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they all end up coming out in those big sumo suits or something. Or something stupid like that. And it's all just a piss take to take people's money. Or, like, not necessarily to take people's money to, like, grab a bunch of money. I don't think he's doing it for money. I think it's a charity. It's a charity event, isn't it? I think he's doing it to kind of like prove a point of taking the piss. Like,
yeah.
How much does this cost? Let me see. Oh fuck me! So that it's expensive. It's expensive.
Yeah.
In fact, I might buy tickets now because as in, buy tickets, I mean buy tickets to watch the stream. Put it in perspective, the one I was telling you the results of before, I think cost £6. something like that, £7 to watch all those fights. That's very cheap. Having said that, Jake Paul pay-per-view is around 15, and sometimes a Tyson Fury, so like a proper boxing one, might be 25, anywhere up to 50. That's kind of range you're looking at. But for YouTube boxing, more than like £10 is a bit. That's not. I don't think that's happened much. Like that's a lot. This is $20 now for the early bird price, which is why I'm gonna probably buy it right now, just to watch it, not for a ticket to go, just to watch it live. If you bought it like in after 8 days from now, when the early bird ticket ends, it's $25. It's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And then the day of the show, if you buy it then, it's $35. So for just a piss take, that's a lot of money, actually.
I don't. I think they'll treat it fairly seriously.
Do you really? All these massive creators, you think they're going to dedicate months and months of their life to only training 7 hours a day at least? Every day, dieting, all of that. Because that's the expectation that YouTube boxing has had so far. They've seriously been trying to make it an actual legitimate thing. There's been a lot of roadblocks. There's been a lot of things that people have had to get over. Just looking at the last event that I was on about, it's been difficult. Because obviously it's YouTubers and all that bollocks. But this seems like it's got the most potential for fucking up the reputation of influencer boxing, let's say. Because it's not just YouTubers, is it? But
yeah. I think it'll be all right. I still want to watch this one just because my boys are in it, but
I'll 100% be watching this. But even down to the fact that something I've been interested in seeing in these sorts of events is a Twitch streamer doing it. But I obviously know why that's an incredible ask from them, because they have to be streaming most of their life for their living. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So you can. There's no way you could stream most of your life and train anywhere enough for a boxing fight. Not even close.
Well, I reckon Tyler 1 could get it a go.
Tyler 1? No. No, if he streams as much as his usual schedule... I know who he is. I've seen it. I've seen his physique and all that. If he wanted to train for boxing with someone a similar weight to him, who didn't have to stream as much as him, he'd get battered. I'm telling you, he would.
Greek God X managed to lose loads and loads of weight as well, but I suppose he streamed himself losing weight as well, though. So
that's another thing.
With one stone. Really.
And this is the other thing. If you thought, well, I'll stream my boxing practice then, well, you're still going to get fucked then, because your opponent can study every little thing you've ever learnt.
Yeah.
So like, it don't work for a Twitch streamer really. Just a Minx is a Twitch streamer. And also one that I know the type of vibe that she goes for, the type of branding, where I very much doubt she'll take a boxing fight seriously. Having said that, with all of this, I would absolutely love to be proven wrong. But I think this is going to be the biggest piss take you've ever seen. And I really, really hope it's not, because I love influencer boxing. I really want it to be taken seriously, because that's the thing that's enjoyable, because if it is a piss take, I'm not interested. And the thing is, I don't like the idea that they're going to be like, oh, it's just fucking stupid, isn't it? We're just going to kill it by taking piss so much. Fuck you. You know, it's like, fuck off. People enjoy this. Why put them down and take... Like, just because you think it's stupid, don't mean that it actually is. Even if it's not real, even if all YouTube boxing previously has been fake and a trick, it doesn't matter. It feels real, and that's great. Whereas if you take piss and ruin it all, it's going to fuck it all up, and then all that's happened is you've made some money and you've ruined everyone's enjoyment of something they liked. That's all that can come out of it if they are taking piss.
I don't think they are. I don't think they're treating it like that. I'll be completely honest.
Well, at this point, I think that's more likely than not. I'll put it that way. But I pray to God, I don't think there's a God, but I pray to someone that, how about this? I pray to iDubbbz, right? That's not the case. I pray that all the people on this influencer boxing card are taking it as seriously as they can take it. Like, I really hope they're taking it as seriously as possible. And that the fights will be good. I really
you know
do.
what I think? Do you know what I think?
What?
I think you should watch some Super Mega because I do actually think you would like them.
Yeah, I'll give that a go. I'll slap a sub on Super Mega.
I think Super Mega are right up your alley actually.
Well, potentially my favourite channel at the minute is Cold Ones. So if it's anything like that, then
they've done stuff with Cold Ones before. They're good friends with
I've seen the podcast that they did with them.
Yeah, they're
they're
good,
selling
good
merch
lads.
as well for this YouTube boxing event. It's $50 for a hoodie, $30 for a t-shirt.
Yeah,
it's in it's in Florida. The event's hosted in Florida.
It's like not a good sign.
We know the reputation that Florida has.
Yeah.
One of the t-shirts, one of the main quotes on it is "Influencers will perish." Judd, it's not serious. It's not serious. I'm telling you. I'm gonna buy one.
Nice.
I'm gonna buy one. I want to see what happens here. I'm gonna order those tickets after we've done this podcast. But
all right.
That's that. Anyway, I wanted to end on a little nice note rather than me being like, "Oh my god, they're going to ruin one of my favourite boxing type things." I wanted to tell you about my my work conference.
Your shit earlier. Work conference. Okay.
I didn't say it was shit.
Oh,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Oh.
Okay. So it was 9 a.m. while it was supposed to be while 1, but it overran. And it was a pretty normal kind of work conference with some guest speakers. We talked about kind of our fundraising and our the finances and all sorts of shit the company were doing. Pretty standard stuff. I say company, it's a charity really, but I'll briefly mention one of the guest speakers was this I think he was Italian. It was foreign, but he had a pretty cool accent, and he was such a smart guy. He were literally telling us about it was quite funny because there was this woman who was kind of a high up social worker type of person.
Yeah,
she was kind of telling us, but also half convincing us how important their work is, and these are people who we like. These guest speakers are people who were trying to help fund their stuff, and so she was telling, and it was good. It was good work, reasonably convincing. And then this I'm gonna say he was Italian. If he wasn't, I'm sorry. This Italian fella rocks up and is so here's my cure for various cancers. And it was just this woman had done, that's decent work. It's and he was like, okay, sit down. He didn't act like that. It was very reasonable, but it felt okay. I've just cured cancer, so and this is a thing, right, that I'm going to mention briefly. The hospital that my charity funds is some of the things they fund is fucking mental. It's so insane. The technology and the things that medical ability that they can do is unreal. I've literally put it in my notes to talk about on another podcast. Some of the things that we funded. It's I was saying to people today. It's beyond science fiction. It's when you watch a science fiction thing and they've done something that looks, oh, wouldn't that be really cool if we could do that? It's more than that at this point. It's insane. So I'll talk about that in another podcast, potentially the next one if you want to listen to that. But the thing I wanted to tell you about was the ending of the podcast. Of the meeting. Of the meeting, yeah. The ending of the podcast is right now. Bye, everyone. That's it. No. Anyway, the ending of this big conference was health and well-being session.
Okay.
Now, as soon as they mentioned that, I rolled my eyes. Oh, for fuck's sake! I don't like this. I just want to go about my work now. Thanks.
This doesn't fit into my binaric view of the world. The cold and indifferent feeling, the comfort of the spreadsheet.
Yeah. Oh God, Judd, I love spreadsheets. I reckon I could look at some of my favourite spreadsheets and actually come. I think I could come to orgasm from a spreadsheet. I actually do. But we'll get to that later as well. No. At the end of this conference thing, they wanted to do a health and wellbeing session, and so they didn't tell us what they were going to do, and they handed out a bunch of paper and with a bunch of words on. And at the end of this, one of them handed to me, and I was like, oh fuck, I can't read this. with my big dyslexia, I looked at it and was like, that looks like some black on some white. Cool.
This number looks like this number, but upside down.
And what it was the company secretary, which sounds like a lower down job. It's really not. It's quite a high level job. He's paid quite comfortably twice as much as I'm paid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to actually phrase this. He kind of just sung to us. He kind of just started singing to us.
Cool.
I don't know. He kind of just was like, that was the whole thing. We all had to stand up, look at the words to this song, and he were just singing. I was stood there looking around everyone else like, oh my God, surely you are all feeling how weird this is. Surely, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, everyone. Seriously. I was looking over, my girlfriend works for the same company, and I was trying to glance over to her surely this is not just me. This is weird as fuck. This is so weird. And the idea was that we would join in with the chorus. Now, this guy, he's so old. He's just this old. He's a lovely guy. And he would just he had earphones in, and he could hear the music, and he was singing along to it. But we couldn't hear it, and we were meant to join in with the chorus, and I don't know why. I have no idea why. I don't know why he didn't just play it out loud for us all to sing with. I think weird. I've actually genuinely forgotten what song it was. I think it was the "You Raise Me Up So I Can." Yeah, I know. Just dying laughing. I'm pretty certain it was that.
So much funnier.
But the thing, I didn't even the chorus for that song. But I bet you cannot sing me a verse of it.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
I can't, no.
So he started singing these verses. I'm like, oh my God. And they'd kind of picked him because he could kind of sing he could hold a tune.
Yeah.
He couldn't. No, he couldn't. No, that was a lie. No, he couldn't. I'm sorry. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to say his name. But I'm sorry. I love him. But mate, that it was bad singing. It was not in tune. But I enjoyed it. But kind of, it's very awkward. And then we kind of all stood there, very uncomfortably, looking at this thing, awkwardly going, "You raise me up so I can stand on mountains." And do you know what actually kind of made it worse? There was 2 songs that we were meant to do. The second one, they fucking did play it out loud. They just put it out loud on the speakers. Why didn't they do that with the first one? What was that about? Honestly, this was meant to be a mental health and well-being, and I'm looking around and everyone's hunched up why the fuck are they making me do this? This is horrible. This is torture. And they played this second song, and I couldn't even sing along at all because I never fucking heard it in my life. I still don't know what it was called.
Wait, so he'd finished singing the first song, and then they made him sing another?
No, they they did. He sung along with all of us, but they put it on. They just put the song on YouTube, and we all just sung along with it. We had the words to that on the back of the sheet as well. So we're supposed to sing along with that one as well, but they put that one actually out loud on screen to sing along with. This is corporate culture, Judd. This is what you get if you work in an office. I know. That's health and well-being, folks. So there you go. That's the podcast. It's been jam-packed of everything. And what I will say is fucking stick around for next week. Because there's just as much. Honestly, we could probably do 4 podcasts worth of content tonight with all the shit I've written down. But we don't roll like that because we're lazy. Stick around. Listen to the rest of the podcast. If this is the first podcast you've ever listened to, if you listen to it all the way through, I'll fucking give you a little smooch. It's only if it's consensual, right? You do consent to this, mate. Of course you do. Of course you do. I mean, come on. Here you go.
Just move past it. Move past it.
Yeah, go on. Give him a little kiss, Judd. Come on.
Are you asking me to do a little kiss right now?
Come on, Judd. Do a little kiss.
I'll do a little peck. Mwah. There we go.
What a fucking cop out. Anyway, what I'm saying is stick around for more podcasts because honestly, I swear to God, I've got so much written down that'll be interesting and crazy. Just a little teaser. One of the things we're going to talk about in an upcoming podcast is the most fuckboy things we've ever done. The most lads type of thing we've ever done. If you want to know some of the potentially most embarrassing and raunchy, devilish things we've done, we're going to tell you. We are.
We're going to leave the truth bare.
Just
for all to see.
Brother Bear, the movie. You seen that one?
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
No, I've not seen that one.
You should.
All right,
it's got Joaquin Joker in it.
Hey, does he go?
Yeah, he's a bear, and he goes, you Murray, you're a little bit of jab.
You're a piece of work, Murray. And you know what? I don't like your attitude, quite frankly.
You know what, Murray?
Says,
I'm just going to eat a salmon, Murray, so fuck you. And that's...
Yeah, that's what he says.
Right, fuck me. I'm ending it here.